Hello again, new wheels, the time had come. So, welcome to this week's episode. I hope you're all well. This week's episode is a little bit different. I hope you're going to enjoy it. A little while ago, met a fellow YouTuber and photographer, and I'm not going to tell you who it is, but if you go back and look at my Kelly Hall Tarn One Shot Wednesday video, you'll probably get a clue. In fact, you'll know who it is. But this guy lives in Yorkshire, and he said, if you're ever in Yorkshire, give me a shout and we'll go out and do a shoot. And I thought, actually, I've got to go up to York, and I'm on a 2-day course for school, how to teach science outdoors, which sounds like a lot of fun. So that's tomorrow, which is Thursday and Friday, and this is Wednesday. So I said to him, I'll come up on the Wednesday, we'll meet up if you like, and then I've set him a challenge. And I've said to him, how about the idea of we either go to somewhere that you've been to a lot of times, and I go to it and I've never been there before, and I'll try and photograph it. We'll photograph it together and see what we come up with. Or we go somewhere completely separate that neither of us have been to before. So he has arranged for us to go and visit a place of special scientific interest. That's all he's told me. I've deliberately kept away from all the maps. I know roughly where we're meeting. I don't know what direction we're going from there. We're meeting at McDonald's car park, and then we're going to go to the location. We're there. We might do a little bit of a joint intro, which you'll see in a second, and then we'll split up and go our separate ways. And I'm going to try and come up with 3 images each, which we'll share with each other and we'll put on the screen. Now, it's not a competition. I don't want you to comment whether you think mine are better or his are better, because his will probably be better, to be honest. But it'll be an interesting thing to see how we photograph at the same location. Now, a few years ago, a very good friend of mine, John Gibbs, who also has a YouTube channel, and I'll put his link down below so you can have a little look. If you probably know John, he's a very famous landscape photographer. John and I met at a place called the Naze, which again I've photographed before on the channel, and we spent the sunrise there, and I spent all my time looking out to sea, photographing the sea and the rocks in front of the sea. John spent the whole time faced completely the opposite direction, photographing the cliffs. So that for me was really interesting, that's what John was looking at. It might be something similar today. So I've got a 4-hour drive ahead of me. Actually, that's a lie. I've done an hour already, so I've got a 3-hour drive left. Not going to stop at all. Just going to go straight up. We'll have a McDonald's, and then we'll go to the location and we'll see what we see. Next time you'll see me, I'll be there.
So here I am, and it's June, and obviously it's in Britain, it's raining, but it's going to stop soon. So, the surprise guest on this week's vlog, he's very busy holding up that rock. It's Mr. Garry Sugden. Okay, so hi Gary.
Hi.
So Gary's been really kind enough to suss out this location for us, and we're going to, as I said in the car, we're going to have a kind of a like a challenge. So this is the first time I've been here. This is Brinham Rocks in Yorkshire. Gary's been here before as a boy.
Many times as a man and boy, but never as a photographer.
Never as a photographer. So it's kind of newer to me, but new to both of us photographically. So what we're going to do is we've had a scout round. We're going to split up, and then we're going to try and capture 3 images of this fantastic location. Nothing like East Anglia. Look at these lovely rocks and boulders. What rock is it? What sort of
most people call this the idol or the Druid's idol.
The Druid's idol. And what's it made of? What's the material?
Millstone grit.
Millstone grit. So we're going to try and photograph this. I've also seen some silver birches and bits of woodland there as well, which is I find it really interesting. So we're going to come up with 3 images each, hopefully, and then we're going to send all of those to each other. and then there's 2 vlogs, one from me, one from Gary, hopefully with the same or maybe some extra images from both of us. So go and check out Gary's YouTube channel, go and check out the vlog that's going to accompany this one. We're going to try and release them at the same time, so you get 2 vlogs for the price of 1. Right, you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do this.
Yeah. Okay, let's go.
So I've got to photograph the Druid's writing desk, haven't I? We were going to wait until sunset, but the light's looking all right. It's going to look nicer in the next half an hour or so, but I really like the fact there's some real angry clouds here, and I think it really suits the subject. I've said this before on a video. Sunset will look nice as well, I think, but I'm very happy here. I like that this writing desk looks lovely. The Druid's writing desk looks amazing. These rocks are just incredible, and what's even better is there are some silver birches beside it. So let me shoot this. I'll just fix up the polarizer just to darken down the clouds or the sky such that there is, and then I will show you through the camera what we're getting. I've got a nice lead in here. We've got these 3 rocks which are all facing towards the writing desk. They're also facing towards this rock here, which has got some nice interesting texture and white bits on it. There's the writing desk itself, and then in the gap we've got some clouds on the horizon. We could do with maybe bringing this bit out a little bit in processing, but across the moors here, so give the photograph some depth. This part here, these 2 bits here are interesting as well for the left hand side, and then we've got these beautiful wispy silver birches. Now what I need to do is just get the tops of those silver birches in, those ones and those ones. They are going to blow around, but I don't mind that. I think it gives me a nice little kind of surreal feeling to it. So that's going to be the shot, and the sun is about to come out, so I'm just going to wait and see what happens with the light. Hopefully we're ready to shoot it. There's certainly already some light appearing on the side of the writing desk. So yeah. Amazing the way sound travels. The dog barking in the village, and it must be at least a mile away. Here it's clear as day. Here's the first picture. See what you think. So this is Gary's version, and I actually really like this. Quite jealous of it. I think the composition's very strong. It's really interesting to see how he's handled the light. He's darkened everything down, made it moodier, made it suit really the idea of a Druid's writing desk. I think this big rock in the foreground works better. There's less space, dead space on the bottom left, which there is in mine, but I've gone for the sunlight and the lighter approach. Gary's gone dark and moody. Both nice shots, but I really like Gary's a lot. So Gary and I have separated for a bit. We're going to meet up again in about an hour and a half, which just leaves me to explore this wonderful place which I've never been to before. And it's getting really quiet now, which is great, but I've come across this scene, and I think the amazing thing about Brinham Rocks is the fact that you've just got these rocks sat in really awkward and odd places, like that one up there. It's amazing. So I think really I've got to capture that somehow. If the theme is give us a sense of what Brinham Rocks is like, what it feels like for me, then this is definitely the things that I should be concentrating on. There is some really lovely foliage. I'm really enjoying the woodland as well. But the shot for this though, I don't think you can see this very well. A nice rock here, leads up onto this one, and what I'm going to shoot down, I think, is a wide angle, so a super zoom let really down low, with these two rocks that lead in, making that look really small in the picture but quite dramatic, and the silver birch behind. Also has the benefit of cutting out the sky, which isn't the best, but it's not the worst at all. And there is some light shining from just over there, which might just touch that rock and give it a bit more shadow and a bit more 3D, make it look a little bit more 3D like. It might also work well in monochrome. Right, let's set the camera up and I'll talk you through this one. Okay, so here's the shot. Just waiting for a little bit of light, but I'm going to focus stack this, because we've got this rock in, this and this and this, and that's depth of field is far too much for f13. So I'm going to shoot 4 shots, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll blend them together in Photoshop. Here comes the light. Right, I'm not sure about that one. The idea is nice, but it's going to depend how it looks to process it. I've said this before, looking at the screen on the Nikon Z7, it's not as, the pictures don't look as good as they often do on the computer, so it's kind of difficult to judge really. On the GFX I used to find that whatever they look like on the back of the screen was what they look like on the monitor and what they look like in real life, and I can tell pretty much straight away that I've got it. With this it tends to not look quite the same, but I know that when I process these and pull out the shadows, they look amazing. Really pleased with the quality. So this has got all the elements that should look good. It looks good here. I've got the top of the little silver birch in, the rock, a little bit of light to the side, so this might work, but it's done anyway. Focus stacked it. In the end I've gone with 3 images that I'm going to focus stack together, and we'll see what it looks like. Right, let's move on, see what else we can find.
So at the end I didn't even bother blending these focus stacked images. I don't like this image particularly. I think it's a combination of a very weak sky and there's not enough light to make it stand out. On to the next.
I'm finding this quite hard at the moment actually, which is good. I haven't taken a photograph for a couple of weeks, and you do get out of practice. I mean, I'm seeing things. I really like these old roots that are kind of making a nice pattern across here, and we've got some rocks which are a little bit boring, no offence, some trees, a silver birch in the background, but the whole thing just hasn't got any light on it, so that's not really going to work. I've kind of got some nearly pictures. I've shot a picture without recording it, just of some birch trees looking out across the moorland, but kind of all right, but at the moment nothing really. Trying to put my finger on why. It's very grey up ahead, which doesn't help. I think I'm going to need to get and shoot some more grand vistas. I'm certainly happy that I've got 2 shots in the bag. I need another one, and it could, my kind of ideas driving up here was that I'd maybe do a little detail shot. I haven't quite found that yet, but I do love the woodland. I think I'd need to just sit here for a half hour or so and soak it up, but I haven't really got time, which is interesting. And I'm thinking, I bet Gary's getting some really good shots, which I'm sure he is. Right, let's move on anyway. So I can't really talk to you at the second because I'm perched on a very steep bank. Just come across this scene. I'm really interested in this tree here. It's all sort of gnarly and curly, and then this tree in the foreground looks really nice as well. So it's framing it. So I'm thinking of a 65-24 crop on this. I'm going to shoot it on this camera, actually on the Z30, and just crop this in. Might work well. I'm going to do the colour, the white balance is going to be on cloudy on the picture. This is set to just standard, so there's a bit of a green cast to it, as you can see, because we're under all these green trees. But have a look at the picture, see what you think. I quite like this one actually. Quite pleased I've spotted it. I find it really interesting. We've got this red bit here, just where the bark has peeled away. So I'll put it on the screen now. This is turning into a really, it's a bit midget about, this is turning into a really interesting experience actually. I can see a picture here, which you probably can't see at the moment because in my head this is going to be a 65-24. Again, it's woodland. I'm attracted by the rocks and the moss and the trees growing out of it. The ferns along the front here are going to be blurred because they're moving around a long exposure. I really don't mind that at all. I like the way the composition just works. There's rocks that are pushing into the picture. These trees are leaning in. We've got some trees in the background, including a little silver birch that just give us some depth. 30mm on this. I'm still got the 14 to 30 on. But I'm only going to use a middle section. I should really put a slightly longer focal length on, which I might do actually, and just reshoot this, just because I've now talked myself into it. But I just love the greens and there's some light in the distance and the light from the side. I'm just interested that this is what I've picked out. I think I'm going to have to move back towards the car park where the main rocks are now though, because I feel like I need a main big vista for this. So as one of my 3 pictures, I think I've got a couple anyway, but maybe one more. So I'm going to shoot this with the longer lens on, and I'll show you that now and see what you think. So as you can see, we're losing the light, but it's really kind of moody, which might work well with these rocks. I'm just going to, I've got a composition that way, basically, to my right, your left, where you've got some rocks that are leading in. So this is going to be monochrome, I think. I think there's enough light to make the rocks give enough contrast in the rocks. So there's some lovely textures in these. So it's a portrait, sweeping across these rocks with those big ones there in the background. Nice moody sky above. Might be quite nice actually. This will probably be the last shot though, because we're getting close to deadline time. I've got half an hour left, so it's been a really interesting experience. I've really enjoyed it. Right, let's shoot this and I'll talk you through it as I'm going along. Wah! Silver in England, eh? So this is going to be shot with the 14-30. I'm on 14mm here, and I've got, you can't really see this, I'll show you through the camera in a second, but you've got some nice line of boulders and then a nice big boulder there and some really angry clouds, but there is unfortunately some blank sky just above here. So I'm going to give it a few minutes and just see if this cloud moves over. I'm going to try and shoot this straight. I might have to focus stack it as well though, because there's quite a lot of depth of field involved. F11, 15th of a second at ISO 64. Might have to make that shutter speed a bit longer. So there's the cloud, but what's happening is as it's coming over the rocks, I think the wind's blowing it upwards and it's just dissipating. I really want it to be over, right over my head here, and that was going to make a really interesting image. See that big rock? Look. That's really, really nice. So the composition is going to have those elements in it. But we'll see what it's like. So I'll put that on the screen now, see what you think, and then I'm going to go and find Garry. So I'd called it a day, but gotta shoot that. This is going to be a square crop, I think. Look at that. Does it look wonderful? I hope Gary's got this one, because this is a good shot, I think. spent my time over that way. What can you do? What can you do? The shots I've done have been interesting. I've enjoyed them. And whatever you shoot, there's always something else around the corner. So it's not the end of the world. But I think I'm going to get a nice square of this. This could end up becoming one of the top 3. Right, let's shoot it and I'll show you on the screen. And then we'll say goodbye to Garry. And then we'll show you all the shots. So that's it done. We've both finished photographing. I don't know about Garry, but I really enjoyed that. It's been so interesting coming to a place I've never been to before. I had no idea what to expect. Could have been coastal, could have been woodland, could have been like it is. And this has been a nice mix of rocks and interesting stuff, and also some silver birches. So I've spent a little bit too much time probably on the finer details, but I do like a Yorkshire wood. This guy, on the other hand, has got an absolute cracking picture, I think, because he shouted at me, and I looked up, and in the distance, on top of some rocks, was this guy with some beautiful God rays coming out from the sun, which was behind me, so I didn't even spot. So, but hopefully you'll enjoy the pictures. We're going to send each other the pictures, choose 3 of our favourites, and that's for your entertainment. So go and check out Garry's video. Garry would have put one together. We're going to release them on the same day. So Garry Sugden Photography, go and check him out on YouTube, subscribe, all of that lovely stuff. I'll put his links down below and here. And until next time, Garry, thanks ever so much for that.
You're welcome.
Brilliant. Thanks for organising it. And thanks for tuning in. I will see you next week. Goodbye.
See you there.
Yes. Be really good, but this guy got a blooming cracker. Was that falling over?
Start again. Now this is much more like one of my vlogs. This is most definitely like one of my vlogs. Sorry about that.